Hello and welcome to this video of me planting propagated plants. At the end of the video I am adding a little clip of me putting new cuttings into these little jars of water, but first we're going to start off with potting these. So about 2 years ago I bought this plant, which is devil's ivy, pothos. So I just wanted to say, disclaimer maybe, I'm not sure, that I am no plant expert. I do not know too much, but I've had a lot of luck with this plant. I've read it's quite easy to take care of, and it's very easy to propagate. So I'm finally getting round to potting these. I should have probably done it a while ago. So if there's any gardening expert watching this, I'm really sorry for how long the roots are, and I didn't know if this was okay to plant them. Hopefully they have enough space. I didn't know if I could cut the roots. I should have probably googled that before, but since I've had quite a lot of luck with this plant in the past, I've propagated quite a few, you can see in the background. I thought I'd just, plant the 6 or 7 little jars that I've had in my house for quite a long time. You can sort of plant these when they're about maybe 6-7 centimeters long, the roots, but these are much longer than that. And I finally got around to it, basically, and I thought I would film it. It was a nice sort of light sunny day. Propped up my camera on some books and made a mess of my sort of dining table. I find taking care of plants quite therapeutic. I sort of go in waves of getting excited, and I don't really buy that many. I've stopped buying plants and I've just propagated the same one for a couple of years, and I've given it to friends. I gave one to my mum. She's an amazing gardener, and it's fun when I go and see her to see the little plant that I gave her now has 6 or 7 leaves. So it's an ivy, so that's the way it grows. It'll just keep dangling, or you can sort of prop it up and sort of bend it a little bit. It's a very easy plant to take care of, which is great. And that's the plant I've had the most luck with. All the others, I've had a few that are doing okay, but I just feel this one is very green and it makes the rooms in the flat look so much brighter. Annoyingly, I've been thinking of getting a cat, and this plant, I think, apparently is poison to cats. So that was a bit of a disappointment, but I don't think I'm going to be getting a cat anytime soon. I keep thinking about this and then I realised that I probably shouldn't, and anyway, it's something that's on my mind often. It's either the plants or the cats, so obviously I'd have to get rid of, I think I have about 20 of these around the house. So yeah, obviously you have to be careful if you have any pets to make sure that the plants you have in your house aren't poisonous to them. So a lot of the little jars that I use are from car boot sales or charity shops, and they're normally really cheap, like 50p or £1. And the plastic plant pots are also from plants that I've been given, and I've repotted into a bigger pot. I was always fascinated by my mum having like so many plant pots and things that she could just use, like, oh, this one was from this plant that I was given that I've now planted in the garden, and I was like, oh wow, you just have these things. Like, I never had plant pots lying around, and now I am that person that has random bits of plant pots lying around. So it was quite fun to sort of go through this cupboard that I'd left lots of random things in and finally put them to use. I'd love to know more about plants and have bigger plants, but I live in a flat in London. I do have a monstera plant that I got off Facebook Marketplace for free. Someone was moving country, I think he was actually moving back to Spain, and I went to their house and I picked it up, and it was so heavy I carried it on like 3 tubes. It was the other side of London, but it was massive. It was like so big, and it was free, and I know these plants are quite expensive, so I took it home. My arms were aching for like 3 or 4 days. It didn't stand up right. It got quite like straggly, so it's quite tall, and I couldn't prop it up on this thing behind me, on this sort of, I'm not sure how you say this. I couldn't prop it up anywhere on the wall because there was just no space. So I decided, after a week of having it sort of propped up and then going into the living room in the morning, and it sort of collapsed and it was all like twisted over, I decided that I would propagate it. Well, I would cut it and put it in water and basically propagate it, make it grow roots, and sort of have lots of different smaller versions of monstera. I do believe it's a monstera. I do really need to check that actually. And so I have that, I've done that, and now it's been a few months, and these stalks, well, these bits of this plant have really long, thick roots, like really thick compared to this smaller plant, and I need to now pot them. So I thought it was a great idea at the beginning, and I think it was still a good idea because there was no way that plant was going to survive. It just wasn't working because I wasn't able to tie it up on anything. So now I've got these, I think there's about 8 or 9 sort of, or 10, I'm not sure, there's maybe more, leaves with roots, massive roots that need planting. And I planted a couple like a few weeks ago just to see how it would look, how it would work. And it's still kind of lopsided. So if anyone knows, I mean, not lopsided, like it still kind of falls a little bit to the side. I don't know if I'm just not doing it right or that's the way that plant is. I've Googled and I've looked online and it does look like this plant sort of flops over a bit. That is my next little project that I need to try and figure out how to kind of save, because I think the roots are quite long now and it should really be potted properly. That's the end of this video. Thank you for watching. I will be planting the few little propagated bits that I've just put in water again soon. I'm not going to leave it as long as before because I think the roots definitely don't have to be that long. So I may update you on that. Thank you and goodbye.